Coach, how much fun are you still having, and how have experiences like this bowl game changed over the years for you?
I didn't get to find out about the bowl game changing on the first year, but I didn't get the first part of it.
How much fun are you still having, just doing this?
Oh, well, I enjoy it. I think it's, this has been a little bit more of a trying year for us because we've got so many young kids and we've had so many injuries. We had planned to have a different kid at quarterback. The Devlin kid left us, who's taken Delaware, and I'm glad to see him having so much success at Delaware. I think Delaware is right in the middle of the national championship scene in the division they're in. But as he and his family wanted to make sure he played 2 years as a first stringer, so we lost him. We had to start all over with freshmen. So there was a lot of things with this year that were a little bit tougher for me. I wasn't quite sure. I knew some kids. It takes a while to get to know them a little bit. But we get, now I feel a lot more comfortable with them. And I think we'll play well tomorrow. Play as well as we can, I think. You never know. But I enjoy, but I enjoy it, I get out of it. I really do enjoy it.
Joe, Florida's had trouble when they can't protect the quarterback. They've shown some difficulties there. You guys have maybe struggled a little bit on your defensive pressure. Do you think that's maybe a key matchup in the game, your defensive line versus their offensive line?
Oh, I think that's always you sooner or later you got to run the ball a little bit, and that comes down to whether your offensive line. Again, the weather's going to be a problem. If it's really hot, those big guys, they're not ready. We wouldn't be ready. We're playing with 300-pounders playing 10, 12 plays, and they sound like newspaper guys. Huffing and puffing. So I think it's always going to come down a little bit of that, yeah. And we've got to be able to get to their quarterback. I don't think there's any question about it. And I think vice versa. They'll do a good job getting after us because they play an awful lot of man and they do a lot of blitzing. And we'll have our hands full. That's why when somebody asked me about whether I expected a high-scoring game, it's hard to predict.
Coach, is that big Florida leads the league and leads the country in punt
I'm
blocks?
sorry, I missed you.
I think Florida leads the country in punt blocks since 2005. What do they do in the kicking game that worries you?
I don't know, really. I'm not sure I know where you're coming from.
Florida leads the country in punt blocks since 2005. So what do they do?
Yeah, but I know where you're question. I don't know.
Do they do anything specifically in their punt formations that worries you a little bit, concerns you a little bit?
We got to be ready for. I started out saying it when you start talking about the scores. I said, you don't know about the kicking game. You don't know. We beat Northwestern because we blocked the punt. Actually, we don't block the punt and score. 2 years ago, Iowa blocks the punt and beats us when Iowa was a really good football team. I think kicking game's important. I think that's what you drive on. I know that I'm not that familiar with who Urban had on his kicking team, but there is one kid there that they won't have. I think you're talking about the return guy when you're talking that they're probably going to miss.
Joe, can you just talk about the speed that Florida has?
You got to speak up a little bit.
Can you talk about the speed that Florida has?
Talk about the season?
Speed.
Speed of ours versus theirs?
Yeah, versus Florida.
Well, I don't think there's any question that that's going to be the biggest problem we have. Make sure we keep them where we get a shot at them. Because they can run. They go 100 yards. One kid's a 100-yard dash guy, fastest guy in the whole bit. And we got a speed guy, but he's this big. I think there's no question that speed worries me. And we've tried to emphasize the fact that you got to have good position and don't underestimate their ability to run away from. keep everything inside of some people, and then we got to tackle. It's football.
Has any team that you've played compared to Florida speed-wise at all?
Well, we've played teams that can run like that. Maybe not quite as quick as Florida is. Florida's had some, they've had some injuries. They've been a little bit up and down. I could show you a couple of tapes in Florida. It looked like they beat anybody in the country. And then there's a couple others where they've had to make some substitutions with some people that they don't look quite as dominant. You know what I mean? They're not quite as swaggerers. They're a little bit hesitant about some things. I expect them tomorrow to be a team that's on a mission. I think they like Urban, and I think Urban leaving at the time and the whole bit is a plus for them. And I think that, as I said, he will probably be a thing. And last time we were down here, not at this particular bowl, but in the area when we played LSU a year ago, LSU had that kind of speed, but the good Lord took care of me. Rain like the Dickens, and we had mud that thick. Felt like Washington flushing, trying to flush it all.
Couple more questions.
Tomorrow will be Evan Royster's last game. Can you just discuss what Royster has meant in terms of stability for the run game?
Well, Royce has been very solid. He's been durable. He's not a vocal kid. He's not one of those rah-rah guys. We were talking about motivation a little bit earlier. Whether you motivate the same way. Royce is the kind of guy that, tell me what you want me to do, and I'll give it my best shot. And he's been a good, solid football player for us. He'd wish he had just another step of speed, and then he'd be on the verge of being a really great one. But he's a great athlete. He was the best lacrosse player in the state of Virginia when he came out. Heck of a student. It was kind of fun to see him at graduation. His mom came up with his three brothers, 4 boys. A couple of them went to Stanford, and the kid we had, they were all good-looking kids and bright kids. So we're gonna miss them.
Joe, when you were in Clearwater, did you get a chance to meet Roy Halladay, and what was that?
Yeah. We worked out at the Philly complex.
Right.
They were great. Oh, they did a great job for us, all those guys. Oh yeah, they brought Angelo Dundee came over.
wow.
Angelo just had a hip replacement. He came over, and my dad used to box a little bit. He used to go to Stillman when I was a kid, and Stillman's in. So Dundee was I was talking to him about, I had seen Sugar Ray Robinson, not Ray Leonard,
right.
Sugar Ray Robinson when I was a kid for boxing the Golden Gloves in Madison, the old Madison Square Garden. And it was kind of fun to be around Dundee. And then the kid who threw the no-hitter, boy, is he an impressive young man. I mean, and they tell me he works out every day. He lives down there, and they've got a marvelous facility. They were great to us. Everybody's worked it and really knocked themselves out to give us our best shot. Food's been good. People around that, been good to the kids, and so it's been a good experience. I just hope, we can end up with a good football game for everybody.
Last question.
Did you and George box much?
George box?
You and George box much?
George was a little tougher than I was. I mean, he could knock a newspaper down with one shot. It takes me 2. We had a lot of fun. I saw Marciano spar up in Brockton one night. And my dad took me to I knew guys would, but anyway, Archie Moore was, when I come from in Brooklyn, we used to box over one of the old armories on Bay Ridge. I'll never forget. And my uncle and my dad took me out to watch Archie Moore. I think he wasn't quite as big then. He was maybe 65, maybe middleweight. And Archie knocked the devil out of the guy. And my dad said, there's the best fighter in America, pound for pound. So we're coming out, and that kind of got me. I said, because he wasn't a champ or anything. I said, well, how come nobody knows about him? He said, you know about the mafia, don't you? Archie wouldn't, they couldn't get Archie to sign up with the syndicate. But he was great. Okay, guys, hope we have a good game for you. Thanks for coming.